Do it, honey.
Yikes, I am late for my appointment. How is everybody? 5 million people in the house this morning. Dan is alive and well. Let me bring up the chat here. Let's see who's hanging around. Jay Lynn, Charmaine, Risa Centeno, Anna Mae Reyes, Crystal's Adventure are in the house. Charmaine. Folks, yeah, what are we talking about today? Oh, yeah, I think today's subject I was going to talk a little bit about fake news and how to detect it. But before we do that, I would like to share Dan's story of the day. I hope you don't mind. And I hope that you don't take this the wrong way. But I want to talk about something that happened yesterday. Smash, thanks for being here. Michelle, thanks for being a fan. Thanks for coming, 8 million people in the house. Because time is valuable. And so when you show up, it's very, very flattering. Oh, speaking of very flattering things, I've got Ivy over at Christian Filipina trying to get me to sign up. She wants to spend some time putting together a program. And I had to send an email message. I'd say, thanks, but no thanks. I'm a sinner and a heathen, and I'm immoral and corrupt. And so it would not be a good match. She's probably watching right now. But all that being said and done, hey, I'll do it for free. You don't need to pay me for a sponsorship. I'll just throw you're a great organization, and so, hey, people, if you want a date, go on Christian Filipina or Christian Filipino is whatever it's called, and sign up. There you go, free advertising. So I had mentioned earlier, Tim Desiak is here, that I've been contacted 3 times, 3 sponsorships. The names would surprise you. Christian Filipina surprised me the most. Because if you watch the show, right, you're not going to say, let's call up Dan. Let's call up Dan, a morally corrupt Dan, and let's get him to sign up for Christian Filipino dating. The whole thing just cracks me up, right? Oh, I got to get my my microscope out. Let's see. What did Hey Joe say? What did Mike Hey Joe? Buena Vista dreaming. Don't want her sight to burst into flames like me going to church. That's it. Mike, married to a beautiful woman, is here. Jerry, I call South Texas home, is here. Oh, man. Crystal's Adventure, beware. Beware, Crystals. Oh, man. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they're probably listening. Yeah, if you want to embed your link, into the description, I'll do that for you. I'll do that. You're such nice people. They wrote such nice, introductory letters. A couple of them, 2 or 3 so far. I say, here's the whole thing about what I'm surprised at. I tried to figure out, why would Christian Filipina, why would they want a sponsorship collaborative with a channel such as mine? I better go review my stats. So I spent an hour yesterday reviewing my stats, and I just could not believe that I was able to discover the reason why. It's because we hit the ideal demographic sweet spot. I just can't believe it. I have an even mix now of both men and women in the correct age groups that will get you want to go to Amazon.com and start ordering crap right now, today. I could not believe even the age brackets fell right into place, and it just blew me away, right? It absolutely. And then I got a couple of teeny weenies watching the live stream. Folks, don't allow your kids anywhere near the Danster. No, I don't mean it that way. I can say some provocative things at times. I do it deliberately. Mostly it's tongue in cheek. I'm not serious. Yes, exactly. Old white guys and young hot Filipinos. And by the way, I meant to speak to that. Mike at Hey Joe Buena Vista Dreamin' from Vallejo is reminding me that I meant to address this. Folks, there are not 60 million Westerners pouring into the Philippines right now. There just aren't. There are plenty of young 24 to 34-year-olds for everyone. So that's the whole thing, right? In case you don't know it, in order for there not to be enough young, beautiful Filipinas for every one of the Westerners coming in here, there would have to be millions and millions pouring in across the borders into the Philippines, right? And now I do know that that you have a younger male demographic moving in here. Those are basically Megan's here. Those are basically the guys that don't want to work, and so they decide, hey, I know, I'll do what everybody else does. I'll become a digital nomad. Yeah, there's an occupation for you. I'll become a digital nomad. It just so happens that the Philippines is the number. I mean, if you're a vlogger, you've got to be in the Philippines. If you're anywhere else, you're not going to get the views. People just love the Philippines. They want to see what's going on here. It's a very unique phenomenon that's happened here. But those young guys that are coming in here, those young men between the ages of 25 and 40, I would say, you know, they're not going to take the woman of your dreams away from you. You know, they're not. They're not going to come in and take your beautiful Filipino away just because they're a few years younger. You know, it's an extraordinary situation here. You know, they don't want to go from barely having to eat, you know, barely able to make a living to barely able to make a living. I mean, the whole digital nomad thing is very romantic, but it's not very realistic. You know, as I pointed out on previous live stream, income from advertisers is tanking. And so now they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and that's how they end up getting to Dan and Minnie's journey. But folks, the reason why the channel is growing so fast is not because of these videos that I'm posting or my live streams. It's the shorts. And so it's changing the whole demography. It's changing the whole demographic numbers for YouTube. And it needs to go that direction because YouTube is getting stale. You know, when you have old guys like me putting out videos, it's stale. I'm stale. The videos are stale. They've been done before. The only way you can get any action is in those short videos. So you got to have fun with them. But apparently Minnie and I, we have a personality that comes over, you know, over the airwaves, I guess, that Christian Filipino likes. But here's the whole thing, right? It's all fakery. Have you ever heard that word before? Fakery. It's all smoke and mirrors. In the background, we're constantly fighting, throwing crap at each other, you know? You guys just don't. It's just all acting. Yes, old fat guys should wear not skinny jeans is what old fat guys should be wearing so you don't get the droopy drawers. Every old fat guy, such as myself, they know this. You got to go for the skinny jeans because they don't sag in the back. And so if you want, you go with the Levi, whatever they are, 513, something like that. You'll be happier. You'll be happier for it. See, I should get up there and I should show you that I don't have saggy jeans on right now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's our audience. Mike. Mike and Hey Joe. Most of the shores that show up are stupid. Yeah, of course, of course. That's our demographic. It's the stupid demographic. No, I'm just kidding. That's what's selling, and that's what advertisers want, apparently. And so I'm right there. I got everything they want. I'm not crazy about short videos. Just started this year. I prefer a 10-minute. Yeah, I know. And quite frankly, I watch about 3 minutes of a 10-minute video, and then that's the reason why most people, that's all they watch of mine. And so I'm keen to that people bail after 2 or 3 minutes. And so you get a 2 or 3 minute video like the one I'm going to post today after this live is going to be an excellent 5-minute video, and you'll bail after 3 minutes. You'll go, oh, great. Here's Dan walking through the mall, drinking Starbucks. What a nice life him and Mammy have. And I'll admit to you, we do have a nice life. We have an excellent life. I'm not going to lie about that. You should be living this life. Tim's living this life. Tim Desiak. Bryce Ada's in the house. Hi, Bryce. How are you? Thanks for coming to the stream. Thumbs up. Thank you. All right. So let's listen. I'm flattered. I'm flattered that anyone would take the time to try and get me to call them so we could work on a deal. But it would last about 30 seconds. And then all of a sudden I'd be accused of doing something. Tim K, he never mentioned the reason why there's no longer a sponsorship connection between, he said they're great people, and I believe him. He said they're fantastic people. And I believe them because the message they send me, they're lovely. They're so personalized, and they make sure they've been watching your videos. I mean, they'll cite a couple things. Oh, we really enjoyed watching you, blah, 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 blah. And then they'll give an example, right? I mean, they're brilliant at marketing. Ivy, I don't know if you guys script this or if you have meetings and you talk about how to approach potential sponsors, but you are doing an excellent job. You are an asset. You should be running the whole place. I mean, I feel like I know you. I feel like we've been personal friends forever. Aileen Cruz Official is here. Welcome, welcome. Menge's in the house. Larry Lee is here. All right, so I'm going to talk about my latest beef, and I hope I don't offend anybody. Lexia is here, and hey, by the way, Princess is here. By the way, Jill is at the clinic right now, and we were a chance to say hello to Melanie and her husband and the new baby. That baby girl is so beautiful, Melanie. You are so lucky. You have such a nice family. And so, Mel, thanks for spending a few moments with us a little while ago. That's why I was 30 seconds late getting on the air, is because we were watching, we were playing with the baby. Melanie's new baby. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful baby girl. Nicole is here. Jalen is here. Thanks so much for being fans. 14 million people in the house. All right, so now let's start talking about my latest beef. All right, so oh no, Minnie she's just rolling her eyes already. Okay, you're not going to talk about the popcorn, are you, Dan? You're not going to tell them about the popcorn. Yes, I am. Folks, when you go to the movie theater and you're a Westerner, one thing that you will not tolerate is stale popcorn. because that makes the whole interactive experience. It's part of the whole experience. So when you go to the snack bar, you got to get fresh popcorn, freshly popped, and you got to get a soda. You got to get one of those 40-inch sodas, and then you go in there and you get the nice, comfortable chair that gives you the massage, Moelma, and all that other stuff. Moelma's here. Hi, Moelma. Reese is here. And you enjoy the movie while sipping on your 40-ounce Coke and eating your freshly popped popcorn. All right, so here's what ends up happening. So we end up, we didn't end up going to the theater, although we checked it out. They have the IMAX over there at SM City Cebu. But we ended up going to the bowling alley. Man, Minnie wanted to bowl. Even though we never made it, we never actually bowled. But she was smelling the popcorn, and she was saying, "Hi, Mark." She was saying, "I at least got to get in there and get some fresh popcorn." So we go up there, and they say, it's freshly popped, right? And I see the popper there, and so Man Minnie goes to buy it, and they want to hand her a pre-sealed bag of popcorn. And Man Minnie, well, she's Filipina, so she's grabbing the bag. Well, Dan intervenes. Hold the phone. Stop everything. Stop. And the gal across the counter froze. I said, stop. And she froze like this, holding the bag. Is that fresh? Well, yes, sir, it's fresh. When was it popped? Well, it was popped this morning. I said, it is 11 a.m. What time did you guys get here? Well, we get here, we don't open until 10, but we get here at 9. So you're telling me that you are anticipating a run on the popcorn, and so you popped a whole big batch here. Before you sell that to her, can I have a taste of the popcorn? Right? I want to make sure it's fresh and it still has crunch to it. So, no popcorn for me. Last time I ate it was in 2002 or 2003. Okay, well, good to know. We won't send you any, Jerry. Yeah, that tin of Mr. Popcorn, I'll cancel that. Movie theater, exactly. Tim, this is the point, right? Movie theaters and other snack concessions are making 90% of their money from the concession sales, not from the movie, right? They're paying royalties. The movie drives you in there to buy the snacks, right? This is the thing. And so it has to be, you have to do the best you can to get people to come back. The popcorn has to be freshly popped, and the Coke has to be freshly squeezed, And so the whole thing is, when you mess up like that, right, people remember. And so, but they're insisting, no, it's freshly popped. So I said, well, can I taste it? So she grabbed, no, not from the bag. I said, can you go over there from the freshly popped popcorn and grab and scoop a piece out there, and I will sample it. And it was stale when she gave it. She was nice enough to give it to me. Folks, I see something. It was stale. It was stale. So then, Man Minnie had already paid for it. She gets stuck taking the bag. And then I am harassing Man Minnie the entire time saying, why would you pay 130 pesos, which is a lot of money, for that little teeny tiny bag of stale popcorn? That is absolutely a sin. Soon popcorn will be virtual salad. You know what? In the case of the Philippines, it would be better to have virtual popcorn than the stuff that we got. All right. So now I'm on a mission. Now, Minnie knows Dad's on a mission. Oh, good God. I am not going to be able to stop him. And she was absolutely right. Because this has happened before. Right? Don't serve a retiree stale popcorn. So then Minnie, she gets tired of hearing me, right? She gets tired of hearing me. She throws the popcorn. She tosses the popcorn in the trash. She says, there. And then we end up on our journey throughout the mall in search of fresh popcorn. And guess what? We stopped at least 2 popcorn stands where we had the same experience. And yet, here's what's happening, right? 11 in the morning. So I run into this guy, right, who's running the popcorn stand. I said, is it okay if I interview you about the popcorn? The guy says, yes. I said, okay. I go, because I don't want to offend you. I want to get your permission before I interview you. He says, fine, no problem. So that's like chewing gummy worms, exactly. So now I started interviewing the guy. I said, so when did you make this popcorn? The guy says, I made it at 9 this morning. Okay. You have a full machine full of popcorn. Now, do they send you a bag? Do they send you the popcorn pre-popped in a bag? And they say, crank it open, tear it open, and throw it inside the thing to make it look like it's fresh pop. That was the first question. And all of a sudden I see his eyes blinking, they start darting around, right? Deception. I'm about ready to get a lie as an answer. And the guy says, well, no, sir, no. Are you sure they don't do that? Are they sure you don't get the popcorn truck backs up here? You have to dump out a day's worth of rations, right? Convince everybody it's fresh popcorn, and then you take the bags, which were factory popped, and you dump it in the machine so everybody thinks that it's freshly popped popcorn. Where's the machine? Where's the smell-o-vision? Where's the machine that spreads around the popcorn smell? Of course, I didn't smell any, right? But we did upstairs. This is how Minnie wanted the popcorn. She smelled it, and then she wanted to go get it. She wanted a snack. So I smelled it also. And so I'm believing theirs upstairs in the bowling alley was a little bit closer to being freshly popped. This guy downstairs, one of the 2 or 3 that I stopped by, he didn't have a chance. There was no popcorn smell. There was no nothing. But he stands there and he says, no, I fresh popped it. Okay, how long has it been sitting there? He says, well, I got in at 9. It's now 11, right? So I said, yeah, but okay, let me ask you another question. So I didn't want to beat the guy over the head with a corn husk, but he knew it was coming. He knew I was going to get down. I was going to get to the bottom of this, to the truth. I said, okay, so do you keep a logbook of all your sales? He goes, yes, I'm required to. Tox, good morning. I'm talking popcorn, Tox. You might not be interested. Yeah, you probably are interested in this subject. I'm talking about the lack of crispy, freshly popped popcorn in the Philippines, right? It would be like taking candy away from a baby if I were to open a popcorn stand here in the Philippines. So then he's insisting it's freshly popped. I said, okay, let me ask a question. You keep a log of your sales. He goes, yes. How many bags of popcorn have you sold today? Well, if I sell one to you, you would be the first. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for answering honestly. But now, why did you pop? This whole thing, commercial popcorn popper, is filled halfway up to the top with popcorn, right? Let's see. Hey, Joe is saying, I think it's more about people just lying about it. Oh, well, maybe we're going to explore that. Risa, Anna May, we're going to explore this. Popcorn is fresh for about an hour. Not according to the articles I read, by the way, Tim. Popcorn can be fresh forever. It all depends what you do with it and how you handle it. It's like lumpia. It's very, very much like lumpia. All right. You have to handle it a certain way. So now if you don't believe me, go do your research. You're the point guy. Go in there, do your research on that. Because I did. I certainly did. I have nothing better to do. I'm retired. I'm a retired old man. I'm a retired grumpy old man. Megan is in the house. Hi, Megan. Thanks so much for being here. 15 million people in the house. All right, Talk. So let's get down to it. So then I said, okay, so you haven't sold any. And now we know that this popcorn, freshly popped out of the bag, is at least 2 hours old, right? And I'm coming along and I want some, right? I'm coming along. So I said, yesterday, did you work? He says, yes, I worked. I go, when did you sell the majority of popcorn? He says, well, when the kids got out of school between 2 and 4. So they come in here and they load up on carbs. They load up on snacks. He goes, yeah. According to my records, that's when I sold the most popcorn. Can I ask you a question? Why would you pop a full thing of popcorn and then pre-fill all these bags when you know that the majority of your sales happen between 2 and 4 p.m.? And guess what happened? He zipped his mouth and he sat down and didn't even stare at me. The interview was over. He didn't want to talk about it. Because now that question, he thought I was attacking him. But no, it's not that I was attacking him. It's the boss had told him, don't pop the popcorn. This is my guess. We'll never know unless we meet the owner of the popcorn popper. The boss had already talked to him about this and said, stop popping the popcorn so far ahead of time so that you could sit here on social media and play on your phone instead of popping the popcorn fresh the way I told you I wanted it. You see what the problem is? You see what the problem is? Yeah, that's what the problem is. Oh, it's just popcorn. I don't eat the stuff. That's what this kid is thinking, right? Just popcorn. I don't eat the stuff. Yeah, no. I got to go on TikTok, right? What's on TikTok? Him popping popcorn. What's on TikTok? The number one TikTok. 1 million views, right? Went viral. Here's the guy. Popcorn's popping all over the place. The title is Fresh Popcorn, you know? Yes, he was caught red-handed. He no longer wanted to admit. And upstairs, when I said the same thing to them, why are you guys making all this popcorn up? Right? They would not get off of it. They insisted it was fresh. They insisted it was fresh, right? Well, then you don't have to worry about it if you don't like it, right? Unless, see, that's the other thing, Mike. Well, Mike, there's a reason why we keep you around, right? Because Mike says yes, and this is where I am. Exactly. Lander is here. Finally, Lander's here in case he wins again, in case he wins for the third time in a row. So, so Mike says, I don't like popcorn unless hot and melted butter. Yes, and that's what they should be giving everybody, right? Tell me in the chat if I'm wrong. Movie theaters in the States don't make their own popcorn. They buy it in 40-gallon bags delivered every week. Oh my gosh, you see how easy it would be, Tim, to take the business away? It takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes to pop a fresh batch of popcorn. Not so you're filling the whole GD thing up. My apologies to the Filipina dating people. So you see where I'm going with this, right? My eyes got big. There's an opportunity here. And then, so Man Minnie says, well, what would you do with the old popcorn, the stale popcorn? So you're saying that Minnie, now I have Minnie questioning me because I'm getting all excited. I'm saying, Minnie, we need to open up a popcorn stand. LV. Right? So we need to open up a fresh popcorn stand where you put a big sign that says pop fresh every 15 minutes. And then she goes, of course, I'm not popping popcorn I'm not popping popcorn at 9:00 in the morning, knowing that I won't sell my first bag of popcorn until 2. Melanie is here. Hi, Mel. Your baby is so beautiful. You are so lucky. What a beautiful family you have. They make fresh popcorn in the theaters in Canada. You know what? I'm moving to Canada. Mike has convinced me. They have real butter or margarine, depending on if you're vegan or not. That's the way you're supposed to do it, right? So now, I see you guys are. It seems like you're agreeing with me on this, right? That this is an atrocity that you would charge $3 or so for a little tiny bag of popcorn that was stale because you have some snot-nosed kid, right, who wants to play on the social media instead of earning his money and working. All right. But it's a better business opportunity for me because now I've discovered a need. I can fill it. So now Minnie is saying, what are you going to do with, so she says, if you pop popcorn every 15 minutes, there's going to be stale popcorn. Yes. And that's where the caramel corn and all the flavored popcorns come into existence. Because you would take all that leftover stuff and you do what the internet says. You'd be putting it in the oven. You'd be heating it back up till it's crispy. And then you would be flavoring it. And then you would be bagging it on the fly. And then everybody would know that those are the flavored popcorns. And you still would want a good product. You still would have to experiment until you got a very, very good product. It's very frustrating, folks, sometimes here in the Philippines. They weren't lying. See, here's the whole thing. Somebody mentioned in here, it's just playing about lying. They were fabricating the truth. They weren't telling you the truth. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Here's another way to look at it, right? In fairness to all Filipinos and their culture, what it's really about is the definition of what they think is the definition of fresh. And so, and I discovered this because I'm thinking to myself, okay, now we have to find out if their definition of fresh is different than my definition of fresh. And so I asked them, I went around to the popcorn stand and I started asking them. So guess what kind of answer I got? It ranged from all the way from, if it were leftover from yesterday, it's still fresh, all the way to 1/2 hour before the time I sell it, that's considered fresh. And so it was that kind of range. And as Tim pointed out, there's so much profit in popcorn. It's so inexpensive to make. I mean, it's pennies. It's pennies. It's so inexpensive that you could afford, even if you had to pop it and then pop it in advance and you didn't sell it and you threw it out, just like Denny's used to do the fresh coffee thing. We brew a fresh pot every 15 minutes, whatever their thing used to be, right? You're not losing any money. You're gaining. The upside is bigger than the downside. The upside of retaining customers and them being happy because they will be telling their friends, oh, you got to go to Dan and Minnie's popcorn stand because they have the freshest popcorn in the land. Your reputation would continue to grow and grow and grow, just like it is here on YouTube. A little YouTube joke there. A little popcorn YouTube joke there. Mike is saying the wife will eat adobo that has been sitting in the on the stove for 4 days. So yes, fresh is relative to how, well, not necessarily how picky one is. It's how they define fresh. See, if it's not stinking up the place, the adobo, then it's probably good. It's probably good to eat. See, it's all a matter of whether how you define fresh. And that was the miscommunication. And then I felt like an idiot. Once I figured all that out, I go, I'm an idiot. I know you guys would all agree about that part of it. Popcorn is necessary to keep fresh to sell. I agree. I get free old popcorn at material supply stores, and that's not worth buying. Yeah, but you know what, William? You could take it home and you put it on a flat cookie sheet in the oven at 250 degrees for 5 minutes. And guess what? You pull that bad boy out of there. It's just fresh as the day it was born. And so you keep getting that, you keep taking the leftover popcorn, it's as good as new, you can make it as good as new. Manalo Liz is here. Sir Luke is in the house. Sir Luke 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. Crystals is here. Larry Lee. All right, I'm done with that rant. So now, why am I talking about fake news today? Why do I want to broach on a subject that I know nothing about? It's because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it to the point that, let's see, Tim says, Dan, don't fool yourself. You're a great idiot. Well, thank you. Well, I try to be the best idiot that I can be. You may as well be number one at something that you're good at, right? You try and strive to be the best. So the reason I want to talk about this fake news thing is because I started thinking about it. Did the bombardment, see, it's so easy to say, hey, Dan, if fake news annoys you, stop watching the news, right? And that's good advice. That's good advice because all news in the US of A is fake. I started to realize that, hey, wait, how do you find a news channel that's not projecting their point of view, giving a biased point of view, but they're delivering the news like they used to in the old days. It's very, very tough because these days even National Public Radio has a bias. I mean, they're the number one bias, right? NPR equals bias, right? Health is wealth. Can't blame you, Mike, at Mike K. Joe. So I stopped watching these many years ago. Yeah, and you're probably a healthier person for it. Mentally, it messes with your mind. They invent phrases, like conspiracy. Everything's a conspiracy theory if mainstream does not agree with it, right? If mainstream does not agree with it, if they can't convert you into their way of thinking, then it must be a conspiracy theory, and you must be a conspiracy theorist. And so they've changed the definition of the words conspiracy, right? And so they've done that also with the news. How do they do it with the news? I'm going to tell you. That's what we're talking about. This is what they do. A top government source who remains anonymous due to not having permission to speak. Really? And they give you some provocative quote. And then they say the world is coming to an end in 3 days. And then you're like, oh no, you're running around like Chicken Little. The sky is falling. We only have 3 days to put our crap together, because in 3 days the world is going to end. And why is it going to end? Because a top anonymous government official without permission to speak told you so. And so in your mind you're going uh-oh, I need to bury my gold or something. Right, I need to do something. And so you go out and do it, and you actually make changes to your life because some unnamed top government official said, that this was going to occur. And because he said it was going to occur, that is undeniable truth. That's fact. America is turning on itself right now. Red versus blue. Also, the current U.S. government may start war with Russia in order to keep power. Why would Russia? So I'm not a believer that Russia is a threat to anybody. I mean, the main threat to Russia is that it survives on the sales of petroleum products. And we are no longer, I believe, well, we probably are still very much at the top of the list for the number one economy that uses petroleum products. But when you go to places like Russia and Saudi Arabia, and then you say, in 10 years we will be petroleum, they're free, we're eliminating it from our society, and yet you're the number one purchaser, and your whole economy thrives on the sale of oil, that them as those are like saying those are words of war. So now they're threatened, right? What does that Larry say? Dan, the world is going to end. I better spend all my money. Exactly what I'm talking about, Larry. You're getting it. Russia isn't a threat. The conflict is an excuse to exercise war powers. Yes, I believe that. But the threat is with oil, but Russia is finding all kinds of partners in oil that don't involve having to sell the U.S. oil. In other words, they're already divesting themselves. They're already diversifying their customer base in order to compensate for the loss of Americans purchasing oil. This whole petrodollar thing is all smoke and mirrors. This whole BRICS thing, this whole BRICS nation thing is nothing but smoke and mirrors. Why would they want to formulate BRICS? It makes perfectly good sense to me. It's not to destroy the dollar. If it were destruction of the dollar, then why do you go into the BRICS website and everything is explained to you in dollars? Somebody explain that to me. If some of you in the chat, if you're stuck on this fact that the BRICS is going to overtake the dollar and it's going to destroy the dollar, it's going to cause global economic collapse. The dollar will be unseated as the world's currency, blah, 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 the world reserve currency. Then I have a couple of questions for you. Why do they keep buying dollars as reserve currency? That's number one. What's your first clue? That's your first clue. And number two, why is it that when you go into their website, everything is presented to you in terms of petrodollars? It isn't about taking the might of the US dollar and destroying it. That isn't what this is about. See what it's about. Let's see. William Gilbert says Redacted News YouTube channel is my favorite news. You know what? I'm a fan. I like them. I'm in Redacted. I haven't been there in a week or two, so I'm going to go in there because they do challenge the main mainstream news media. So I like Redacted. I like Redacted a lot. I like Redacted. I like Stephen Gardner. I like The Bond King. I like Gerald Celente. All those guys are the truth tellers, the truth seekers, and so I'm agreeing with you 100%. You have to get your news from all different sources, and then you watch ABC and CNN and Fox News, and then you watch all those guys, and then you make your own opinion based on the available information. Just don't stay glued to CNN. Well, CNN tells you that a well-placed top government official said, who must remain unnamed due to his high position in government. Forget all that stuff, right? Just like the Flat Earth Society, they have branches all around the world. Flat Earth, I didn't know it was going to be Flat Earth. You want to talk about Flat Earth? Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, and how airline windows are concave, so when you're flying, it makes the Earth look round from the air. Yeah. Sure, don't take any single news source as verbatim. Get as many perspectives as possible. Yeah, that's right. That's what I believe in, and that's what I'm recommending to you. Avoid getting trapped into your easy chair and then just turning on the same news channel night after night after night without getting other people's perspective. They're basically your mind. You think for yourself. You have a brain. You can make up your own mind based on the available information. Don't let somebody else make it up for you. But that's what's going on in the world, right? That's what's going on. And here in the Philippines, it's just not part of the Filipino culture. Not yet, anyway. And the reason why it's not is because people are just too busy working, trying to figure out how they're going to get that next bit of money in order to put food on the table for today and tomorrow. Yeah. Wash your brain. Yeah. And so that's why it's important. Like this, like, for example, I wasn't going to bring it up. But this whole 14th Amendment thing, right? Come on, people. Get a grip. Get a grip on reality. Come on, people. You've been spoon-fed all this crap. Listen, you've been spoon-fed a bunch of crap. You know, they started using the word. Let me give you an example. I don't want this I'm causing it to turn sideways. But this is a very, very good example, right, of what's going on in the United States. I apologize to the Filipinos in the room, especially when you have honored me so much with your presence, right? But if you go back in time, right, it was very purposeful. The news media was very purposeful when they started using the word insurgent. All right, insurrection. Go back in time to when they first started using it. And if you do your homework, this is a homework assignment, and you go back in time and you start looking for clues as to when they first started this whole thing by using the word insurgent, then the whole thing is going to become clear that you have been manipulated. The whole thing will become clear for you, hopefully. It certainly has become clear to me. Of course, I try and be as aware of, as possible when I'm being spoon-fed crap, right? And so when I'm being spoon-fed crap, I pay more attention. So when I've been watching the news for 20 years, right? And then all of a sudden, 3 years or 3.5 years ago, they started to use the word insurgency. You don't think that it caught my attention? And the first thing I go is I go into Webster's to look at the definition of insurgency, right? Of course it caught my attention. I knew they were about ready to jam something up the other end when they started using that word. I knew that a plan had already been put together, right? They don't operate in a vacuum. They operate by using a script. And the sooner people start realizing that that's the way the world works, no matter if you're living in the Philippines or the USA, that they script everything, the better your life choices will be, right? They script everything. And they become actors in a play. The characters become actors in a play. What do they have in common, Sir Luke? What do news media and mushroom farmers have in common? I mean, even in print media, you know, if you go on the internet and you're reading print media, you're running into all kinds of news articles where words are being redefined. You know, words are they're changing the definition of certain words, even words that are very, very common, right? They're changing the definition of them. There are grammatical errors in the text. There are misspellings in the text, you know, and it's kind of like it's kind of like a dumbing down of world populations, let's just say global populations. It's like a dumbing down process. You know, let's turn everybody into idiots. Let's think for them so they don't have to. You know, and it's starting to become problematic. But the benefit of living in the Philippines is that you don't sit in front of the TV set, not yet anyway, watching all this craziness evolve. You know, you don't sit there. You have families to raise, and generally speaking, you're spending most of your time raising your families. Yeah, you're not sitting there watching CNN Philippines. They want you to be sitting there watching CNN Philippines, that's for sure. There's no question about that. But anyway, how do you spot it? I gave you one way that you could spot it. It's when they don't cite the source because they don't have one. They're making it up as they go along. There's an article online at revealnews.org. It's called revealnews.org, and it's called Reveal's Guide to Spotting Fake News. So getting reliable news in the social media age is a perilous endeavor, and I agree. Musk is trying to control the government to get his opinion to change political policy. Nice work if you can get it. The rise of sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat has created a digital landscape with an unprecedented combination of immediacy and I can't even say this word, fractiousness. So that's the first time I've seen that word, but that's true. So yeah, I think this is a good point right here in the first paragraph. You have to be even more cautious if you're getting your news from social media websites, which will become, if it hasn't already become, the number one way in which you get news, because your nose is in there. Your nose is inside there all the time, 24/7. And so they're gonna feed you. They're gonna put in their news feed all the information they want you to believe. And they're claiming here that it has helped to spur today's epidemic. They call it an epidemic. I'm not so sure it is, of so-called fake news. It's important to understand via an extended metaphor just how complex news consumption has become. Imagine a never-ending buffet. Reminds me of a Vikings buffet. Conveyor belt, 24 hours a day. Each dish has a note from its chef, urging you to dig in. Some of the dishes are nutritious and some are empty calories. Good point. Behind the scenes, a few chefs have even spent money to get their cuisine displayed prominently, or to make it seem more appetizing than it actually is. I did see that. I saw that in a ice cream store. So we were in an ice cream. We stopped by an ice cream store, right? And then one thing so I called Minnie over there. I said, "Look at this ice cream. What do you notice about the ice cream?" She goes, "It looks so delicious." Well, what makes it delicious? And she goes, "It's shiny." Exactly. Is that natural? Is that a natural sheen to that ice cream? So I asked the gal behind that counter at the ice cream stand in the mall. I said, "Do you put something like simple syrup over the top of the ice cream? Do you brush it on there in order to make it look shiny?" And she would not answer me. She wouldn't answer me. She looked away. Why? Why do Filipinos do this? What's wrong with just answering the question? Is it a secret? Is it an industry trade secret? The popcorn and now the ice cream thing. So by offering incentives to news organizations for a particular type of content, such as live video, or by dictating publisher activity through design standards, the platforms are explicitly editorial. That means it's somebody's opinion. And so if first and foremost, I mean, I think this is a great point. This is great practice. I use Hitler's playbook all the time, Mike. That's how my channel has grown so fast. I whipped that bad boy out and I just flipped through the page. I said, "Yeah, I could do that." I don't see anything wrong with that, you know? Anyway, so that's how you approach an article. Any news article, folks, I'm trying to give you a heads up. You should approach everything that you read. You should first ask yourself a series of questions. And the first one should be, are they editorializing? And if they are, then you decide if you want to continue reading the article because you know that it's going to be a biased article. Now, in olden days, they used to tell you that they were doing editorial. But nowadays, they just blurb. They just send out a blurb. They send out a tweet, and they tell you it's based on fact, and then you just swallow it, right? You swallow it. Pretty soon, a person will have to make everything at home so they know what they're getting. Tim, they should be doing that now, and I think that's why I'm ranting about stuff like this. You should be making it at home, and don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't buy it unless you know the origin of the stuff that you're consuming. And that includes tuba wine, right? That includes, number one should be on your list, tuba wine. Listen, I'm not drinking tuba wine unless I stood there and I watched the person make it. Otherwise, I ain't drinking it. Another phrase for some of this low quality content, fake news over the past years, journalists and the public saw a wave of misinformation crest into a full-on crisis. Step one, define what fake is. Yeah, define what they mean by fresh. You see what happened? I was able to figure it out. Define what they mean by fresh. Define what they mean by fake. What is fake to you? What is fake to us? It includes those claims that are made routinely by well-known public figures, right? That you have high regard for, maybe not. But when they keep saying the same thing over and over again, it is not fake just because it's rejected by those in power. It's not fake simply because it's rejected by those in power, right? A very important point. In fact, many of these are signs that the reporter is onto something. Yeah, when all of a sudden you get pushback and they want to put you in jail for something stupid, right? By voicing your First Amendment rights if you're in the United States. That would be a sign that something is stinky out there. That would be a sign that there's manure close by. Right? There's a lot of that going around. There's a lot of crap. There's a lot of crap in the street right now. They're explicitly designed to lay out one side of a story. They used to teach this class, right? They used to teach a class on in English. You had to pass in order to get out of college. Critical thinking. Could not get out of school without passing this class, a critical thinking class, right? And so they were illustrating. They were giving you these illustrations of how you what helps you in the thought process, what helps you to think critically. And I was a good student of that class. I think that class, yeah, was the only A in that particular class. But it turns out that the older you get, and I'm not sure if this is actual statistical fact, this is something I'm repeating to you that my professor told me. And so he was the authority figure. And since I believe all authority figures, and I believe my professor, who said that he has anecdotally discovered that the older you are, the better of a critical thinker you are, right? And so you tend to think better and start asking yourself the questions while you're reading the article. You're doing it on the fly. And so Chris is saying, they'll lose profit when you introduce something fake for them. Yeah, so they must have inquisitive minds want to know. It is not to their defense. I'm talking about Crystal's the ice cream lady, right? They're not asked the question every day. And so she could have been caught off guard. She doesn't know how to answer. I got to call the boss. Am I allowed to discuss this? That we put simple syrup over the top of the ice cream when it freezes, it makes it shiny. See, I don't even know if that's what they're using, right? The same way that you would use egg whites as you finish off the last couple of minutes of baking the bread. You know, so it has a sheen on it, so it's attractive when you put it out in display. Pandasol, people will buy it, right? Let's see. Sounds like the reporters are on recreational drugs while they are working. Of course, of course they are. Yeah, that's right. Your BS detector has to be better than the person writing the story. I mean, some of them they're being dictated to. They don't even write the story. They're being assigned. They get an assignment editor, and they're saying, write the story. It has to have this truth in it. It has to have this truth in it. And if you say to them, hey, that ain't the truth. I know what the truth is. They'll say, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. Do what I tell you to do. And I noticed that there's certain societies and populations of folks that are very good at always listening to the boss, always following what they have to say. But you know, like I said, there is an exodus of millennials and old folks leaving the United States for different countries. You know, because they're sick of having to swallow the crap that's being fed to them, you know, on certain news platforms. But you can't escape it. I mean, it's silly. You can't really escape it. But it's nice to be able to come outside and see smiling people every day. That's a plus. That's why I came. That's one reason why I came here. It might be in the top 5. See, because seeing smiling people, you know, instead of being in some old folks home ward, it sounded like a lot better deal to me. Yes, the truth shall set you free. He tells the truth and got fired. Exactly. We don't need critical thinking skills. We just need to stop and think. Yeah, you have to pause. Well, I think critical thinking, I think that's what, if you're pausing and you're questioning, then that's critical thinking. So I think that, yeah, you need to pause. I think you're right. You need to pause, ask yourself, you know, am I reading fact or fiction here? What am I reading? If it turns out it was from a highly placed government official, it gets rejected. To be clear, no single one of these criteria necessarily makes the story fake news. And that's the other side of it, right? You could genuinely have an anonymous source, an important, well-placed anonymous source, you know, that does not want to be named, and they break a story like Watergate, right? Which happened in the United States. President Nixon. Just tell like it is. They're leaving for a better life. Yeah, they're leaving for a better life. They don't want to. They don't want to have to swallow this crap anymore that they're feeding. There's pushback, you know, and you know, I've been criticized for it. So I have to take the criticism. I don't mind that people want to critique me because I didn't want to hang around for the fun. You can't handle living in the United States of America. You can't handle it. You know, you can't handle it. You're unpatriotic. Right? I don't know if coming to the Philippines is unpatriotic. Their flag is red, white, and blue. You know what I mean? They have star. The flag is red, white, and blue. Anyway, editors frame real journalism in viral terms all the time. It's part of getting it. It's part of getting noticed. You know, in other words, fake news can be obvious, but it can also be well disguised. That is why it's important to judge it on a case-by-case basis. It said judge, Mike. Said judge, not stop and pause. Judging is harsh, the harsh reality, right? So number 2, know how to fact check. That's what I do. I fact check. Tim, we were talking about the popcorn thing. I went in and I said, okay, I did what you would do. I would go in there and I would say, okay, how long does popcorn stay fresh? The truth of the matter is, Tim, that's not to be mistaken for. We want it popped in front of our eyes and then put in the bag with butter and salt on the top, right in front of our eyes. And that's how you're going to steal business away from the popcorn guys. You know, it's donuts made, baked fresh every 4 hours. It's popcorn, popped fresh every 15 minutes. Do not abandon those geniuses that made America great. See how he did that? Mike says, if you see the Republican use of it all the time, I see it all over the place. It doesn't have a party attached to it. They don't say, oh, liberals say this, they don't say Democrats say this, Republicans say this, you know. And how would I discover the author's party affiliation? I'd have to do a lot of research. That would take a lot of time. You know, it's easier just to look for the words, you know, the warning signs. So fact check. Where can you start? Conducting your own fact check is critical. You don't have to be a journalist, but you should have a bit of patience and a desire for the truth about popcorn, right? All right. Yeah, but it does have the colors red, white, and blue in there, Mike. That's my point. And then you throw in yellow for extra, you know, and it gives it extra beautiful colors to it, right? But it does have red, white, and blue. And the United States presence is all over the place. So I feel comfortable here. Consult the major players. See if any major outfits like the New York Times, the Post, or the Wall Street Journal are covering the issue. Compare their language to what you're reading. Language comparison. Look for the primary sources. A lot of reporters will include the links or the documents. Yes, always follow the footnotes. You know, something that they teach us in the master's program in school, right? I'll never forget this for as long as I live. So I was in a comparative law class, and the professor gets up there and says, "You, not me," she was talking to the class, "are in a master's level comparative law class. You GD better well know that you just can't spew garbage without including the source. You know?" And then she turned around and said, "Mr. Herrera, excellent paper. If you need to know how to source, Mr. Herrera will teach you how to do that. You damn well straight I will. I never turned in a garbage paper that didn't have the sources that could be followed. And so you do that whether you're doing internet articles or you're doing it in print. They would take my degree away from me if I ever was caught doing something like that." Okay. So if you don't see the primary sources, then the stinkometer starts red zoning. The stinkometer starts going crazy. Start asking yourself the question, is this too good to be true? Let's see, what's a good example? Social Security in the United States, right? Well, there's a reason why the American flag is red, white, and blue, Mike. I think we talked about that a little bit, you know, the other day, the War of 1812 and the like. Listen, I have a whole bunch of interesting stuff entering my head once I saw your comment. You're a good guy, Mike. Thank you. All right, so now ask yourself, is what they're talking about too good to be true? You know, does a story align perfectly with your own misconceptions or preconceptions? By the way, let's talk about one real quick. is anybody just a little bit curious as to why we started talking about alien invasions and started having congressional hearings over the aliens attacking? Is it a surprise to anyone in this stream that I like to use the alien in my shorts because I'm making fun of the alien congressional hearings? People, when I'm doing something, when I'm doing almost anything, I am giving you commentary. I'm giving you my editorial comment, my editorial belief. You know, I'm spewing garbage most of the time. So I'm spinning around like a top. So if you were to ask yourself a question, what's the message that Dan is trying to send here, then you will most likely come up with an answer because I don't hide it very well. I'm very transparent, you know. And so why let's see. The War of 1812 have not yet begun to eat lumpia. That's true. That's true. Aliens are seeing members of Congress. That's right, Tim. And I believe we had a president of the United States who was an alien. I couldn't help myself, Tim. I cracked myself up. I'm going to get banned from YouTube for sure now. I didn't mention any names. Did I mention any names? No, I did not mention any names. Check the links. Follow those sources. You're going to find out that those two can be planted. And so you're going to go in there, evaluate based on those sources. And don't do what Dan does. Don't trust your gut. Part of the balanced diet is reading things that you disagree with, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's important to read the things that you also disagree with instead of just being a parrot of CNN. CNN is on. They said, only want a cracker. Let's see. Did you know that the Canadian didn't lose? Yes, I know that. But you know the United States. It's revisionist history. You know? It's revisionist history. That's how we roll in the States. Never stop probing as we question sources and material. Remember, it's not a popularity contest. Listen, you don't have to share anything. This is you and your understanding of the truth. This is you and your understanding of how an article, how news is closer. One article would be closer to the truth than the other. You know, the whole spewing of alien invasion and having hearings was to get you to look over there, right? As opposed to over there. They want you looking over there instead of over there. So there, where am I supposed to be looking? There, aliens are attacking. You know, we are not alone, right? So that's why it's important to do that. So you'll find one article that's going to be more. Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah, Mike, we know what you mean. Keep probing. I'm probative. You know, I'm probative. But hey, listen to Dan. Dan's going to tell you the truth. Listen to Dan. Dan's going to tell you the truth. I would never lie to you. Do I look like a kind of guy that would lie to you? Yeah, the whole alien thing is amusing, right? So who cares? Who cares? Who cares if aliens are here or not? You know, I feel a little bit out. You know, I feel a little bit under the weather today. And I'm not in my home country right now. I'm feeling a little bit like an alien. Oh my gosh. Learn to trust. That's the problem that I have, learning to trust. The fake news crisis didn't occur in a vacuum. Trust in mass media has declined steadily. And it's true. People are just like, listen, there are things that are going on that we haven't even started to talk about. But it's the decline in people watching those news programs, right? It's the decline. People are fleeing like crazy, you know, to alternative media. They are running away from it. Yeah. And so ratings are down, which means advertising revenue is in the toilet, which means they can't pay guys in order to be line news presenters anymore. They can't pay them the salaries they deserve, and so or they should be making. So they end up starting their own YouTube news channels. And while they're at it, while they're starting their own independent YouTube news channels, they decide that, hey, I think I'll just deliver the truth the way that I see it. And so they do. And so, I mean, the whole alien thing was clearly a distraction. And I don't know whether their aliens are here or not. I'm assuming that, we have aliens all over the place, The social media age has its share of upsides for news consumers and producers, and they're going to be taking advantage of it. And this is the reason why you have to be on your toes. The real journalists, I'm talking about the guys that want to deliver the real news, they're the ones that are being labeled, right? Well, they've already given them a label, the alternative news media, the alternative news source. Well, what does alternative mean? Does that mean I engage that I'm bisexual? What does that mean? Does that mean that I'm rainbow friendly? I don't even know what that means, that word. What does that mean? Alternative news source. In a regular mainstream news article, they will say, according to an alternative news source. The hell is that? Is that a rainbow friendly news source? I'm just asking. I'm trying to make heads or tails of it. Yeah, exactly. Did we really go to the moon? That's the question that really needs to be answered here. Why is it that we haven't sent man beyond the Van Allen belt since then? Why is it that, I have all these questions that need to be answered. So if you're interested in finding out more about it, then go into realnews.org. Go into realnews.org, and they're going to give you the playlist. They're going to break it down for you and give you the what fors, what you should be looking for. You don't have to be a highly educated individual, such as myself, Latida. You just have to be really good at sniffing out BS. That's why they invented this emoji, by the way. Yeah, in the beginning it was fun, wasn't it? It was a riot in the beginning. All right, what are we going to do? Oh, we need to stuff the pig. We need to stuff the pig. Yeah, well, yeah. I think that you can conclude, Mike, that there's enough BS being spewed all over the place to bury this planet. To bury this planet in a big pile of manure. Yeah. All right, so I'm putting money in the pig. Putting money in the pig right now. Money is going in the pig. Now, in the spirit of transparency, let me put money in here. I'm going to put this in right now. I got a kink. There's a little kink in the money, and so it's not going in very. All right, and then I also have. This is one of my favorite coins. It's so pretty. This is like one of the prettiest coins, and so then I'm going to put that in there. It almost didn't fit. It almost didn't fit in that slot. So now we're going to draw. This writer strike is causing humor to go by the wayside. Oh, yeah. Yeah, humor's good. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, in the spirit of transparency. So listen, I'm putting... So I had taken... let's see. Sir Luke is saying we should take a multi-planet civilization by now. Yeah, we should be a multi-planet civilization by now. Technology has been suppressed. In the 60s, we have the Concorde and the development of space shuttles. Nothing since. Yeah, and Sir Luke, I mean, not to get the live stream to go a whole different direction, but I do want to say something about this. So, the exploration of other planets. So remember when they were doing all that? They were doing all that experiments with the biosphere, and the main objective really was they're coming up with a way of it's sort of like Genesis, right? They're coming up with ways of making other planets habitable. And one way you would do that is you would create these biospheres. They would be self-contained spheres or enclosures where you'd be able to emulate your life here on Earth on a different planet. So let's say you went to Mars. Yeah, you'd create a biosphere with an atmosphere inside there. You'd have air conditioning, so you wouldn't get too hot. You'd be able to grow your own food or open a General Mills processed food factory. You would be able to live there and survive and thrive in that environment. And it seems to me like it's easy enough to do. But then, if Earth environmentally is in such big trouble, I started thinking to myself, why aren't they deploying biospheres here on Earth? I mean, is that not a legitimate question to ask? Right? Isn't that a legitimate question or observation to make? In other words, wouldn't we be experimenting with biospheres and starting to set them up here on Earth due to the impending global calamity? We probably have a few years left that we can make everything work and we could fine tune it. And it seems to me you would make it work here on Earth first and then transport it to another world. Yeah, but when NASA was asked recently why it is that we have not sent human beings to the moon, they answered, we can't because of radiation risks. Well, then how did Apollo get there? How did those people get there without being fried? They had a pretty long life, right? In other words, if they got doses of radiation, would they not have come down with some form of cancer as a result of that radiation? In other words, I would have had to, if I'm going, I'm signing the disclaimer, that NASA gives you. Traveling to the moon, you could be at risk for coming back after exposure to radiation. Cancer could develop within 20 years, and then you'll blah 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 blah. Sign here. I waive my right to sue. Something like that. So if we have the power to transform, that's what I'm saying. If we have the power to transform Mars, we have the power to transform Earth. That's the whole point, right? That's the whole point. But I agree with Sir Luke also. Why not just okay? So we can't get beyond the Van Allen belt. Why don't we just put cities up there in orbit? Why aren't we experimenting with putting cities in orbit? People can live in space. People can live this side of the Van Allen belt. See, I don't know. I don't know. Why is all that? Why hasn't all the information from Apollo 17 been released? I mean, I could keep going on and on, but this again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just critically evaluating each situation, and then I'm presenting it to you in the form of a question. You help me understand it. I'm asking for your help in understanding it. Perhaps prolonged exposure to radiation may lessen the lifespan of people. Exactly. And so how come it didn't lessen the lives of those Apollo astronauts who lived a very, very long life? Most of them did. Is it because they're aliens? They're really aliens and not human? Could that be it? I'm just asking it as a question. But you leapfrog like Mike. Mike, I've given this a lot of thought. Not being an engineer, not being any kind of engineer, but I've given this a lot. You would just all you're doing basically is you're leapfrogging your equipment to Mars, right? Including the fuel. Let's say that we never came up with anti-gravity propulsion. Let's just say that we're doing it with conventional fuel, right? Current technology. When you just launch a fuel tank out into space, and then when you launch your personnel, you would just stop at refueling stations until you reach Mars. I'm just asking, is it have I simplified it too much? I mean, we're launching stuff into space all the time. Robots, rovers, monitoring things, Maybe their stay is not that long for them to be affected by radiation, but staying or living there for life must lessen their years of living. Yeah, that's a possibility. I would say that, length of time. Yeah, that's what Reese is saying. Length of time exposed to the radiation. Yeah, all those things it's possible they would all come into play. All right, so now let's pick a winner for thanks you guys for the thought-provoking live stream. 22 million people in the house here because they're waiting for something. Oh my goodness gracious. I have got to get my act together. It's an impossible. I got to go find my list here. Got to find my list. Let's see. Hear ambulance out there. Sounds like another Westerner bit the dust. On his way to Chunghwa Hospital or Doctors Hospital Cebu, perhaps. All right. And then I got an email from Lizabelle. How do you say it? Lizabelle? Someone give me the phonetic pronunciation of her first name. Is it Lisa or Lizabelle? Lizabelle. Manilau, you're here, right? Yeah, I see you. Manilau, Liz, is that you? Are you also Lizabelle? Okay. You're number 123. You're in here. I saw Man Minnie put you in there. And so now we're gonna draw. Also, I didn't see 123 Charles. 123 Charles in here. Charles has said that he's been under the weather. So we hope, Charles, that you're feeling better soon. We send our well wishes to all who have family members that are suffering. Pakil Mertz. Congratulate Melanie for her new baby girl. Looks absolutely beautiful. Okay, make sure that you're logged in. Okay, all right. Must be present to win. Even if you're using a Ninja account, you have to log in with your Ninja account. Mamie's going to come on over here. Okay. Oh yeah. I meant to say, I keep forgetting. So I took Mike's advice. Mike had made a great suggestion. I think it's worked out well. So I've been holding out the numbers, some of the numbers, to give more of an opportunity for others to win. And now, after today's draw, everybody goes back into the pool. So Mike, I want to thank you so much for that suggestion. I thought it was a great one. Tim also gave a few that I put into play. Hey, it's my contest. I could run it the way I want. I'm ready this time. Okay, Sir Luke. Mamini is here. Mamini, come on over here and say hello to everybody. She's been getting ready. We're going for donuts. There she is. Man, I love your outfit. Is this new, honey? Is this a new outfit? No? Yes?
Yeah, that's new.
How come my underwear hanging behind your head? Don't move so they don't see my underwear hanging from the no, I'm just kidding. All right, I see a towel. I see something in the shot. All right, folks, here we go. Mammy, they're saying hello. Okay, go ahead, pull one out of there. We're in camera view.
Hi, everybody.
They don't can
Hi,
see the bottom half of
Julian.
your face. I'm gonna have to elevate this a little bit. And
Julian.
then move it slightly this
Charmaine.
way. All right. You're looking there, but there here you could read the chat right here.
Sir
Okay, she
Mike.
pulled the
Katikora,
number,
Menge.
and the number is 32. Number 32 is for D. Ferdy. For D, number 32. For D Gaming. First call out. For D Gaming. First call out must be present to win. For D Gaming. Second call out must be present to win. Third call out for D Gaming number 32 must be present to win. Fourth call out for number 32 for D Gaming must be present to win.
Where are you?
Where are you for D? Fifth
Ferdy, I don't know.
and final
Hi, Emily.
call out.
Good morning.
Number 32 for D Gaming must be present to win, but they're not present. So now we're going to have many. Oi. Shake it, baby. Shake it. Shake it. Okay, next one. Number 111. Sek Bucci.
Oh, that's
Number
lucky
111. First call out.
Hello, Nicole.
Must be present to win. Number 111. Sek Bucci. Second call out. Must be present to win.
Hi, folks.
Number 111. Third call out. Must be present to win. Sek Bucci.
Hala, uy.
Sek Bucci, number 111. Fourth call out. Must be present to win.
Hi, Risa.
Final call out for number 111. Sek Bucci. Must be present to win. Oh, no winner so far. No winner so far. Let's try it again. Here you go, Mamini. Pull a winner for us. Pull a winner for us. Number 20. Number 20. First call out. Cha Ram. First call out for Cha Ram. Number 20. Must be present to win. Second call out. Cha Ram. Must be present to win. Ferdy Gaming, present. Wait a minute, though. You were way back then. All right, so I don't know what to do here because it could be that there's a delay on the internet. You guys will have to tell me if there's a delay for Ferdy Gaming. Ferdy Gaming.
I said, let
Ferdy Gaming was late, Po. Okay, thank you. You were late. Ferdy, you were late. So now we got to get back to it. Third call out for Cha Ram, number 20. Must be present to win. Third call out.
Sorry.
You know, Megan? Yeah, I thought you do. I'll take care of that today, Megan. I'm sorry. Third call out. Fourth call out. Cha Ram must be present
Megan
to win.
It doesn't have number.
Yeah, that's Megan Gomez. We'll figure it out. I'll make sure she gets in there. You'll be number 124, Megan. Final call out for Cha Ram. 124 is going to be Megan Gomez. Must be present to win. Okay, Cha Ram, you got a lot of chances. Megan Gomez will be 124. So we'll have to make sure she gets in there for the next draw, Megan. All right. We'll try it again. No Cha Ram, one of my favorite people. Number 33, Filipina Raquel TV.
Uh-oh.
Number
Where are you,
33,
Raquel?
Filipina Raquel
Looks like I didn't see.
TV. Second call out.
Hi, Mern.
Number 33,
Good morning.
Filipina Raquel TV. Must be present to win. Third call out. Number 33, Filipina Raquel TV. Must be present to win. Fourth call out. Number 33, Filipina Raquel TV. Must be present to win. Fifth and final call out. Number 33, Filipina Raquel. Must be present to win. She says you're very pretty today. I
Oh,
agree.
like you.
I agree. I agree.
Thank
That's a
you,
nice.
Mern.
That's your color right there.
Yeah,
All right.
this
Another one. You're pulling another one. We have no winner so far. No winner chicken dinner. Next one. Can we give away money today? Oh no, I don't believe it. I
What's
do
that?
not believe it.
one. Oh,
Number 123,
1, 2,
Lizabel Manilau.
Isabel.
First call
Manalo.
out.
Isabel Manalo.
Must be present to win. Number 123, Lizabel Manilau is present, and we have a winner chicken dinner. There she is.
Manilau.
Manilau Liz. Yeah, I think I just wrote it wrong here. She's number 123.
Yes.
Manilau Liz, do I have your
Manilau.
Gcash? Can you get it from somebody? Can you get my private message, my PM from somebody, or can somebody who has her Gcash number send it to me? And you are the 200 peso winner today. Yay! We found a winner chicken dinner. Okay, so now listen, everybody gets dumped back in the pool. And then we add
Yes,
Megan
Sir
Gomez
Larry.
as number 124 for the next draw. All right. Congratulations, Manilau Liz. And we're going to send off that money in the Gcash. Here's everybody getting poured back in for the next draw.
Just doing that.
All right. And shake it up. You'll all be ready to go for next time, okay? Thanks so much for putting up with me. It's time for a Bavarian cream donut. Larry, are you there? Are you still hanging in there with us?
Hi, Sir Larry. Good morning.
Oh, Dan, Risa doesn't have a number either. Okay, I'll check that out. You'll be
Risa.
125, Risa. 125.
Sir Tim. Good morning.
Risa. Anybody else, just send me.
Hey!
Anybody else that doesn't have a number, you just send me a PM and I'll put you in there and I'll let you know what your number is. Risa, you're number 125. So I got Megan 124, Risa 125, and you'll be in there for the next draw. I guarantee it. Larry says, remember to be kind to each other.
Sure.
You want to read that?
Remember to be kind to each other. Take care of yourself. Stay safe and healthy. Plus, always try to have fun.
Hey, thanks for hanging in there with us, and we'll see everybody on the next
Take
live
care.
stream.
Bye.
Bye-bye.